Hello, my friends. I noticed that there is a lot of people freaking out about all the changes that are happening out there. And my goodness, it's going so fast right now. I mean, it's like, what? You hear this crazy news or this totally unbelievable news, and, before that is even settled right now, then there is the next one and the next one. And it's a lot. It's overwhelming. What do you think? And how do you maneuver through this? How do you stay with yourself? Or are you even able to stay with yourself? When when things go so fast, it's as if the mind, it cannot keep up with it. It's trying to figure out what's going on, is it good? Is it bad? What does it mean in the future? There's all this energy moving around, and it is overwhelming. So if you feel overwhelmed, like, I totally understand. What is not to be overwhelmed about when we really just stay focused on what is going on out there? I think a few days ago, a week ago, was the fires, and now there's all these executive orders, and then there's all the pardons, and then I mean, it's like one thing after, then this whole AI thing coming out, and that we are going to start being surveyed, like in everything we do. I don't know if you've heard that guy. I can't remember his name. I'm not so good with names, but it's really intense. And I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of leaning back a little bit and I'm just chuckling. And I'm not trying to be mean about it, but it's like such a big show. It's like this circus filled with clowns, and everybody has their opinion and they're pushing through and what is right. And whoa. And then as all that is happening, then there's, we the people, and we are just being bombarded with it. And then we need to be present with the impact that all this has on us. So, hey, I'll give you a high five on that high five, because it's like, let's just chill out a little bit and see if we can find our ground and our feet in all of this. Because tomorrow, when you listen to the news or read about it or something, there might be another huge thing that's going like, what? And when you are able to be present with your inner experience, and what I mean by that is, it's whatever happens out there that has a profound, it can have a profound impact on us inside. And it can be earth shattering, it can be scary, overwhelming, like I said. What I do, that I've done for many years, is when something happens out here, whether it's the bigger picture in the world, if it's my small little community, if it's my neighbor who gets upset about something with me, or anything like that, then the first thing, I don't know, I'm going to say it, the first thing I do, but there's not really any doing around it. It's just the first thing that happens is just like, whoop, I'm just here fully experiencing the impact of that outer thing. And that is where I stay. That's what I focus on, because I know this is kind of shaking me up and wants to pull me away from my own presence, my heart, the things that matter to me. But what really matters to me is to be able to be present with the impact of what happens out in the world. That has helped me more than anything, I think. I would even say more than meditation, but I think meditation is very, very helpful in being able to be present inside. It's like you build up some kind of a foundation inside that you can always lean back into. And then as you lean back into that, then you're actually observing your own experience. You're observing the outer experience, but you're also observing your inner, the impact of the outer. Now, we don't want to stay as the observer. We can do that for a while. It can be very, very helpful if we get too deeply pulled into the emotions that are brought up that might be really overwhelming and really painful and scary. So, a very important first step is to just become aware so you can take a step back, and we can call it, be mindful. Be mindful. You are the observer now. You're observing all this stuff that's happening inside of your body and your emotions, in your nervous system, in your organs, in your field. It's like, whoa. And that is very hard to be present with unless you have taken time to ground in your own presence, because then it is your presence, your I am presence, your divine foundation, or your soul connection. That's what you drop into, and from there you're not identified with it so much. You can take that step back and just be present with it. And then there's already some peace. Then there is that gap. So now you can be present with this without being sucked into it, without drowning in it, without believing it. Now you can observe it instead of being lost inside of it. Very, very powerful. Very it's so helpful to be able to do that. So learning to meditate and become mindful, if you have not done any retreats that yet, or if you haven't done any work privately or in group where you learn to be present with that, I would suggest you do that, because the way things are happening outside now, if you do not have that ground, you are going to be lost in it. You are going to believe everything that's happening, and it's going to be intense and scary and overwhelming, and maybe also exhilarating at times, like amazing. But that doesn't matter. We still put our energy and our attention outside of ourselves. And then when it changes out there, then the inner landscape changes, and here we go again. So if you haven't already, take some time and learn to meditate. You can always reach out to me. I do have a meditation online course that you can purchase. You can practice. It's very, very basic. It's really learning to be present in your body, in your emotions. Be present with what's going on in the mind. You just start observing and being present with what the heart is longing for, and learning to be the observer, and then finally realizing who you truly are. So it's very simple, but it's kind of covers all the area that we all need to sink in and be present here instead of there. So that's a very gentle invitation or suggestion that you can consider if that's worth it for you, especially now when things are getting a little cuckoo. Well, they have been pretty cuckoo for a while. Can't deny that. So then once we learn to be present and observing it, then at some point, we can take it to the next step. We can't do that right away, because we first need to develop a sense of presence inside of ourselves that is solid, that is like the rock we can lean onto. And from there, we are able to be present with this out here. And then eventually, in order to start dissolving it, then we learn to go into the experience and really feel it. That's what I've talked a lot about also, especially with the core wounding and things like that. So I really hope that you take this to heart because it is challenging out there. It's overwhelming. And not that I want to spread any fear, but just when you look at what's going on, it's probably going to go on for a while because things are changing. We are moving into a higher state of consciousness. And all the old stuff that you see dissolving right now is not going to fit in the new. So that's why it is going to dissolve. And it is a good thing. It's like giving birth, to something new, but it's going to be messy for a while. And when you can see it from that angle, it might be a little easier. Feel free to reach out if you need support in this. I know these are challenging times for many people, and it's very, very helpful to have support to learn to find that core, that presence. And then eventually you start let that fill your life. Okay, my friends, thank you for stopping by, and I see you again soon.